Why is Switzerland so rich? It's a question that comes up a lot. When you think of Switzerland, what do you picture? Snow-capped mountains, pristine lakes, luxury watches, fancy chocolates, and maybe a banker in a suit sipping espresso while managing billions. It's a small country, just about 8 million people, tucked in the heart of Europe. And yet, it consistently ranks among the richest nations in the world. But why? How did a landlocked nation, with no real natural resources and surrounded by much larger powers, become so wealthy? Today, we're going to break it all down. Let's start with history, because understanding Switzerland's wealth requires understanding its long journey. Unlike many European countries, Switzerland has enjoyed remarkable political stability. It avoided being swallowed by empires, survived both world wars mostly intact, and maintained a tradition of neutrality. That stability created an environment where people could invest, innovate, and build businesses without the constant fear of destruction or political upheaval. Imagine living in a place where, for centuries, your capital wasn't going to be confiscated by a conquering army or wiped out in a civil war. That's the kind of environment that breeds wealth. Now, political stability alone doesn't make a country rich, but it sets the foundation. The next piece of the puzzle is Switzerland's unique banking system. Switzerland is famous worldwide for its banks. Swiss banking has a reputation for privacy, security, and reliability. Historically, the country's banking secrecy laws, especially in the 20th century, attracted wealthy individuals from around the globe, people who wanted to protect their assets from unstable governments, war, or even high taxes often turned to Swiss banks. This influx of capital didn't just sit in vaults, it fueled financial services, investments, and the growth of a sophisticated financial sector. And this is more than just a modern phenomenon. Swiss banking dates back centuries, but it really became a global powerhouse in the 20th century. But the story of Swiss wealth isn't just about hiding money. The country became a hub for global finance because it earned a reputation for trustworthiness. Think about it. If you're a wealthy individual or a multinational company, you want a place where your money is safe. The legal system is predictable, and your agreements will be honored. Switzerland offered exactly that. Over time, banks expanded into investment management, insurance, and private wealth services. This made finance a cornerstone of the Swiss economy and brought in enormous wealth. Now, finance is a big piece, but it's not the whole picture. Switzerland is also an industrial powerhouse, particularly in high-value, high-precision sectors. Consider watches. When you hear the word Swiss, you probably think of luxury watches, and for good reason. Brands like Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Swatch dominate the global market for quality timepieces. Swiss watchmaking is a combination of craftsmanship, innovation, and branding. These aren't just luxury items. They're symbols of status and engineering excellence. The watch industry alone generates billions in revenue annually and supports countless jobs. Beyond watches, Switzerland is strong in pharmaceuticals, biotech, and chemicals. Companies like Novartis and Roche are global giants. How did this happen? It's a combination of investment in research and development, a highly educated workforce, and a regulatory environment that supports innovation. Switzerland consistently ranks at the top for patents per capita, and this culture of innovation directly translates into economic power. Another key factor is the Swiss approach to trade. Switzerland is a small country with limited natural resources. That could have been a huge problem, but instead of seeing its size as a limitation, Switzerland leveraged it. It focused on producing high-value goods that could be exported around the world. Think precision machinery, pharmaceuticals, specialized chemicals, and financial services. By focusing on quality rather than quantity, Switzerland carved out a global niche. Let's not forget geography. Even though Switzerland is landlocked, the country is mountainous, which historically limited large-scale agriculture and mass production. That could have been a drawback, but the Swiss turned it into an advantage. With limited arable land, They invested in efficient agriculture, dairy production, and high-quality food products like chocolate and cheese. These became premium exports. And the mountains themselves played a role in the country's wealth by shaping its culture of engineering and problem-solving. Building infrastructure, tunnels, and transport systems in a mountainous region requires precision, planning, and innovation, all skills that translated into industry and commerce. Another often overlooked factor is taxation and government policy. Switzerland has a decentralized political system, with significant autonomy given to its cantons. This allows for competition between regions to attract businesses and talent. Corporate taxes are relatively low compared to many other European countries, which has helped multinational companies establish headquarters in Switzerland. Combine this with strong property rights and minimal bureaucratic interference, and you have a very business-friendly environment. This policy framework doesn't just attract corporations, it encourages entrepreneurship and wealth creation among locals as well. Education plays a huge role too. Switzerland consistently ranks among the top countries in terms of educational quality. From vocational training to top universities, the Swiss workforce is highly skilled, adaptable, and innovative. This talent pool supports high-value industries and ensures that Switzerland isn't reliant on cheap labor, but on knowledge-intensive work that generates real economic value. Now, let's take a moment to talk about Swiss culture, because this is subtle but important. There's a cultural emphasis on precision, reliability, and long-term planning. You can see it in everything from their watches to their public transport. This mindset permeates business and government. People tend to value sustainability over short-term gain, which helps maintain wealth across generations. It's one thing to make money, it's another to preserve it. And Switzerland excels at the latter. Another dimension is innovation in infrastructure. Switzerland has some of the world's most efficient transport networks, reliable utilities, and technological systems. This infrastructure makes business operations smoother, reduces costs, and enhances productivity. Efficient infrastructure often goes unnoticed, but it's a critical component of economic success. Let's not forget neutrality in geopolitics. Switzerland's neutral stance in global conflicts has been a strategic advantage. While neighboring countries faced occupation, destruction, and massive rebuilding costs during wars, Switzerland remained intact. This allowed the country to continue producing, trading, and accumulating wealth while others were struggling. Neutrality also reinforced Switzerland's banking reputation, as people felt their money was safer in a country that avoided global entanglements. Tourism is another important contributor. Switzerland may be small, but it's a global destination for luxury travel, skiing, and natural beauty. Tourism brings in significant revenue, and it also reinforces the Swiss image of quality and sophistication, something that feeds back into exports like watches, chocolates, and other luxury goods. Now, you might be thinking, all of this sounds great, but doesn't Switzerland also have a high cost of living? Absolutely. Switzerland is expensive, but here's the key. High wages and high productivity offset those costs. The economy isn't just rich on paper. People generally have high incomes, strong social services, and excellent quality of life. Wealth is both generated and distributed efficiently enough to maintain social stability. We should also touch on demographics. Switzerland has a relatively small population, which means wealth is concentrated and manageable. Policies and social systems can support citizens effectively, and wealth per capita naturally rises. This combination of high productivity, high-value industries, and a manageable population size creates one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world. Finally, let's consider Switzerland's approach to global integration. The country is not part of the European Union, but it maintains strong trade relationships with EU countries and the world. This selective integration allows Switzerland to benefit from global trade while retaining sovereignty and control over domestic policies. In other words, they get the best of both worlds. Access to markets without sacrificing autonomy. So when we put all of this together, Switzerland's wealth isn't the result of a single factor. It's the combination of historical stability, a trusted banking system, high-value industries, innovation, skilled labor, smart policies, and strategic neutrality. Each element reinforces the others. A stable political system attracts investment. Investment supports industries. High-value industries generate wealth that can be reinvested. And a culture of precision and long-term thinking ensures this wealth is preserved. To illustrate this, let's look at a story. In the aftermath of World War II, much of Europe was in ruins. Germany, France, Italy, all had to rebuild from the ground up. Switzerland, surrounded by this chaos, remained intact. Its banks held assets for people from around Europe. Its industries continued to produce, and its infrastructure was fully operational. As the European economy recovered, Switzerland was already in a position of strength. It could trade, attract investment, and expand its industries while others were still struggling to rebuild. That window of opportunity helped cement its economic status for decades to come. And it's not just history. Today, Switzerland continues to innovate. Its pharmaceutical companies lead in research, its tech startups are growing, and the country remains a hub for wealth management. The principles that created Swiss wealth centuries ago, stability, precision, innovation, and strategic thinking, are still in practice. So if you're wondering why Switzerland is so rich, the answer is, it's not magic, it's strategy. It's a meticulously crafted combination of governance, culture, finance, industry, and geography. Switzerland didn't just stumble into wealth, it cultivated it through centuries of smart decisions, strong institutions, and a clear understanding of its strengths and limitations. And here's a final thought. Switzerland's story offers lessons for any country, or even any individual. Wealth isn't just about resources. It's about stability, planning, skill development, innovation, and long-term thinking. Switzerland shows that even a small, landlocked nation can achieve remarkable prosperity if it leverages its strengths wisely and avoids the pitfalls of short-sightedness. If you found this breakdown useful and want to dive deeper into how different countries become wealthy, or how you can apply some of these lessons in your own life, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I post detailed, deep dive analyses on economics, finance, and global trends every week. And tell me in the comments, what other countries do you want me to break down next? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.